Guys, welcome back to Bar Z. My name's Stan, and welcome to part 2 of our V-block grind. In the last episode, we did all the flat work and got all the blocks, equal to each other, square. I showed you how to lap in an initial squareness to get them to sit on the plate right, so you can grind one side square, flip, and then match. And so we're square, we're equal to each other. All that's left is our V-grooves. And we could go back to the plate and find out how far off the V-grooves are, but we already know they're off, from our initial measurements. And so it's really not important to know how far they're off. They're just off, and we're going to match them. So we're going to bring over we're going to start with the dressing a wheel, getting a wheel to 45. We'll bring over the tangent dresser, radius and tangent dresser, and set it up for a 45 here on the plate. And I'll show you how to do that. And then we'll dress a wheel, and then we'll cut in these V-grooves. And then finally we'll check them and see how we did. The trick is to keep that V-groove in the center, so that if I lay this block on its side, maybe in a vise, and I want to clamp a round rod in here, across two of them, we're not going to be different if we flip, so they need to be equal in all ways, so it doesn't matter which way we use them. So let's get set up and bring the tangent dresser over here and get it set up for 45. Okay, well, we got our tangent dresser all set up. We've set it to 45. Use a magnifying glass to check your veneers on both sides. You've got 60-minute veneers on each side of the protractor there. So use a magnifying glass, get it spot on. And now we know we're traversing at a very accurate 45-degree angle. This is the wheel we're going to use. And this is the way it's going to mount into the machine, just like this. So our dresser is going to go up and down the back side of there. And we're only going to do half of the 40, 45 or 90, whatever. Anyways, but we're only doing half of the V-groove at a time. Before we start and mount this wheel and do the dressing, we are going to do one last thing, and I'm going to use this as a dish type wheel. And you can see that black contact around the back side. This wheel's relieved 1 degree on this back side right here, flat on the bottom, and 90 degrees on the side, but it's 91 degrees here. We're going to side wheel the fence as a reference, because what we want to do is we want to make sure that the fence is very parallel with the axes of the machine. So we're going to side wheel the fence, make sure the fence is nice and straight, and then when our parts go in, we know we're indexing properly, because we're going to be going in with this wheel and doing half of the V-groove, and then we're going to flip our part, half of the V-groove, flip our part, half of the V-groove. So everything matters in relationship to that fence. That fence is very important, and that's why it was very important that we get these parallel to begin with, because the V-groove is going to follow whatever mistakes or errors you have. The V-groove is going to follow that. So we have to make sure parallelism, I have a hard time with that word, make sure parallelism exists with these, and then make sure that your fence is parallel with the axes of your machine. So let's put the dish wheel on. Then we're going to dress the fence. We're going to come back with a radius tangent dresser, dress our wheel one final time, and get a rough grind on. After rough grinding, we're going to dress again and do our finals, because this wheel is going to degrade and we're going to lose some accuracy on the way down. All right, so let's get to it. Let's get over to the grinder and throw some sparks. Okay, well, we've got our dish wheel on. It's basically on backwards. And we want to dress this fence here in the back, and we're just gonna, I'm pretty much set up. I'm just gonna put a line of Sharpie all the way down there. Nice black line, so you guys can maybe see that. And make sure I'm not gonna hit or anything. It's pretty square now. I just want to dress it up and clean it up before I start this. We're not pulling any more than a tenth or two out of it, so your fences are gonna last a long time. They get reground often, but it's not like you're taking thousands off at a time, just a couple of tenths. Just to get a little bit of contact there. You see I'm taking the Sharpie off down here, but not quite so much down here. So we're just doing little tiny bits as we go along there. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Okay, I think I got you in a good vantage point where I can still work. We're going to do this dry, no coolant or anything like that. I'm going to try to do it and not stick my head in the way. My first reaction is to get right here and look in there, so try to avoid that. I set it up so we're just skimming right now. What I'm doing is I'm moving the table that direction, along the center line of the wheel. Only stepping over about 1/1000th at a time. Okay, that wheel's ready to use. Our table is most certainly a mess. We've got little white bits of powder everywhere. But now we've got our fence is clean. Our table is the table's already known to be flat. A real fine Arkansas stone here. I'll check one last time for any little nicks or dings or any high spots. Just kind of nib your table. And one last wipe down. I think we're ready to bring some blocks over. Now what we're going to be doing, I'm going to be using compressed air, flood coolant, wipe down when we make our flips and all that. So you know, every time we remove, we take it and place back. We've got the opportunity to get dirt, grit, whatever underneath the part. So we have to remain clean as we do our flips and things like that. And we have to make sure we seat against that fence. Now we're just doing a rough grind at first, so it's not so critical, but when we do our final, it's got to be clean as a pin. All right, let's get the blocks over here and get set up to make our rough grinds. Okay, I think I got it pretty much set up so you can see. I'm going to be using coolant. I'm going to be using compressed air. It's going to get loud, but I think I'm ready for a touch off. You can see my two blocks here. This is the really bad one. That was the really rusty one. And we're going to work that backside over right now. Alright, I just made contact on both of them. I'm going to set my dial here to 0 on the hand wheel. You can't see what I'm doing, but over here I'm setting my hand wheel to 0. so I know when to stop on my next one when I flip it around. All right, and you can see the mess I was talking about. I'm gonna let these stay down on the table. I'm not gonna pull them up from the table so no grit can get under them. And we're gonna flip and make sure our fence is clean. And we're gonna do the same thing here. Make sure that fence has got nothing on it. Make sure the part's got nothing on it. All right, that feels good. If there was something in between your part and the fence, you'd feel it. All right, we're up against the fence tight, and we never left the plate. So I'm going to pull out. I only pulled in about 5/1000ths. We're going to see how this feels. Make sure we don't have any contact or anything like that. All right, feels pretty good. About more of the same. Working my way back to 0 on my hand wheel. Just starting to contact that second one. I'm back on 0 right now. Okay, feels pretty good. We're going to release, wipe this side of our part. Make sure there's no grit or anything on this side of our part. That's where we're going to flip into the fence. Get rid of some of this coolant. Okay, let's wipe here, and never leaving the plate. We're staying down tight, so we don't have the opportunity to get anything underneath there. We're going to wipe our fence. Back on there. And mag it back down. And more spark out, basically is what this is. This time we're flipping, we're not moving the hand wheel. Flooding it pretty hard with coolant to keep all the junk off of there. Yeah, I'm pretty happy there. It keeps your V-blocks all flushed and clean. You sop up this extra coolant and get ready for another flip, and we're going to spark out on the other side. We're going to flip again and let it spark out again. Again, these are never going to leave the plate. We're just going to keep them down tight. And as you push stuff around, you're going to notice the built-up edge in front, but as long as this never leaves a plate, it just kind of squeegees it off. And that's why your fence is elevated. You've got room for burrs and junk and stuff to get underneath that fence. All right, let's do a spark out here. Still haven't moved the table. That's it for these. Let's go clean them up and wash them. Now let's measure them. See if this method's really working before we waste our time doing the other V-groove. Let's take them over to the plate so everything measures and see if this method is in fact getting our V-grooves in the center, for one thing, and keeping them centered, and also, you know, are they parallel and all that stuff, and equal height, all that. So let's go over to the plate and check this before we go any further. Okay, we're back over on the plate, and what we want to do first is this is how we're going to check to make sure our groove is in the center. We're going to stick our dowel pin out to the side, and then we're going to flip and check it the other way. I've already kind of set this up. It's a little tricky to set up. I've got it within a few tenths. There, we're 2 tenths above. Now I'm just going to take the whole rig and flip it over this way and run it through here. And we're about 1/10 below. So pretty good. And flip. Hope my hand's not getting in the way there. Same results. And the next thing we're going to check is height between the two. To see if they're we've got the same elevation on both of them. Now that we know that they're centered up. So we're going to come along here, and these things need to take a trip to the D-mag because they got very magnetic doing all that flipping and everything over on the mag plate. So let's get 0 here. Alright, good 0. And we're going to flip over our other block. Make sure we're the same. And we're within 1/10 on height, so we're pretty good. It did take a little bit. I did the rough grind on these V's. I'll face them towards you. It did take I took the rough grind and then I had to go back and redress, but it was more of the same that I already showed you. We're doing the flip trick, and then it got to where I was just barely dusting, flip, dust, and did that about 3 or 4 times. Came over here and checked, and then at one point I actually did a little bit of I don't know whether you call it cheating or not. I came in here and checked it this way, flipped and checked it this way, and I was about a full 1,000th off, so that was 5,000ths per side. I just came in with a Sharpie and marked the V groove that was actually sitting proud and tall. I marked that one side, then I took it back over there and I just dusted that one side and made the correction to get these completely centered. To get them as centered as I did here, I'm within a few tenths of total center. So pretty simple to do. Just you make a lot of trips back and forth between the surface grinder and the plate to get your measure on. We've still got the little side to do, the little V groove. We haven't touched those, but that's just going to be more of the same. It's no big deal to center them up, grind, measure, just keep bouncing back and forth, clean. Just take your time, wipe up your coolant, wipe up your grit, and make sure it's very clean and you're getting a good index every time, because you're moving the parts around an awful lot, and one little chunk of grit can really spoil your job. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little series on how to center a V groove and match a pair of blocks. But I've got a pair of Starrett blocks that are highly magnetic here. All right, thanks for watching. Okay, well, the V blocks are done. I've reground the small side, and they've got very sharp edges. I've already cut myself on it. I'm just going to take a diamond card, knock all the corners off, and give them one final cleaning. We're going to get rid of the magnetism because they're pretty sticky right now. They've been on that mag plate 6 ways from Sunday. But I've got a good pair of blocks. My worst measurement was like 4/10 off. on the flip, you know. So that's I wouldn't consider that inspection grade. I'm not prepared to take it to that level. I can sit there and fuss with them and fuss with them and keep going with them and make them inspection grade, but it'll take an awful long time. That's why V blocks are so expensive. When you do get the inspection grade units, some guy sat there for an awfully long time going through those and making them right and measuring and doing things to them. He literally spent hours getting those last 2/10 or 3/10 out of there. So that's why your inspection grade V blocks are so much more than a working block. So I've got a nice pair of V blocks that I trust. I'm going to take them over to the mill, put them in the mill drawer for my setups and things like that. I don't have a small pair of V blocks like this for the mill, so I'm happy. And that's what you can do. You can take it to any level you want. If you want to sit there and fuss with these things and get them inspection grade, you'll get there. It's going to take you a long time though, and a lot of trips back and forth from the plate to the surface grinder. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this little series on rehabbing some rusty eBay junk. This was interesting because these blocks were made many years apart by Starrett, and now they are a match set, and they've come together, and they're going to spend the rest of their lives together. All right, thanks again for watching.